Up next, we have Honorable Mr. Anand Mohan Bajaj, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Finance. Over to you, sir.
Namaskar, good morning, all of you. In fact, I was listening to very good speeches and deliberations by actually the people who are leading the drive for investor awareness. Mr. Ashish Chauhan, he in fact narrated the evolution of systems on exchanges very well. And in fact, it really struck me when Vikram Limia said that they are planning 500 plus webinars in this week itself. I'm sure that should touch most of the investors and would make them aware of various systems and process, their rights, and will reinforce their trust. From the NIFM, Mr. Acharya's presentation was actually very, very important, very elaborate, to show us the mirror on where do we stand. And also I liked the coining of DIY tools by Mr. Vora. And of course, Ms. Catherine from the IFIE spoke well on the very important topic of investor awareness. So I thank everybody, I congratulate everybody, and I thank the Bombay Brokers Forum for organizing this event. And I think in the next 5-6 days, I'm sure this event will actually target educating, making aware various people. Now, I just want to start from where Mr. Ashish Chauhan was telling us the evolution. You know, I remember in the 1990s, screen-based trading, I think 1994, was introduced. And then came internet trading, you all are aware. And then came the direct market access, 2008. And after that, it came, I think almost 10 years have happened on the algo, HFT, and co-location. Now, all these are important milestones, but any such development in technology have to be associated with more and more organized effort to win the trust of everybody who participate in the system, to win the trust of small investors particularly, because they are more in numbers and they are the people who carry the, you know, the trust around, inform others to join in bigger numbers to the systems. And in this kind of thing, we need to have more such interactions, certainly. I was telling yesterday to the inaugural function of ANMI that in India we do have, and we take pride in our well-developed and deep capital markets, organized capital markets, systemic processes in the capital markets. For example, well-established exchanges, you all are aware, very good system of clearing and settlement, a very sound an alert regulator, good surveillance framework, adequate framework in the money market and the banking system, supportive legal framework to ensure contract enforcement, and in the company law, we have an adequate framework established for good corporate governance. All these added provides an ecosystem where the investor can have a trust that their rights and privileges would be protected. They would have relevant information, adequate information, access, and they will have adequate financial awareness through various mechanisms, whether it is the awareness series by various bodies like IFIE, NME, etc., or by the stock exchanges, or by the investment advisors. And therefore, the various disclosures which are made by the companies from time to time would also be available and accessible to the investors on a timely basis. But this is what is absolutely important, so that investors are not duped and they are in general respected whenever they ask silly questions or whatever are their doubts. It is very, very important. I think speakers earlier have also mentioned to keep the trust of the investors, and for that the brokers play very, very important role. And you as a brokers association, the BBF, has a very important responsibility to instill that feeling in your members, that responsibility towards investors in your members. You know, it was also mentioned that during Corona time, we have seen rise in retail investment. Now, there are many reasons for that, but let's, in the share market, welcome that event, welcome that happening, and do everything possible so that we have bigger and bigger movement on the retail investors front towards doing more and more transactions on the share market without fear, without doubt, or without loss of any trust or confidence. You know, this is very important. The capital market system for the nation building, and also to finance the big infrastructure requirement of this country. I think Vikram spoke about financial intermediation to facilitate savings into investment. This is actually very important. And for that matter, the investors' protection and education assumes a center responsibility. We everywhere, particularly as brokers, we must look beyond the short-term benefit to a longer-term benefit of attracting, retaining, and motivating investors in the markets. From a government perspective, from the policymakers' perspective, we see it as very important to stimulate all kinds of investment from every nook and corner of the country, from small and big and medium investors, to get attracted toward the capital market, to contribute in the capital market, and the regulator, the government is there to ensure effective financial markets, regulation, supervision, and conduct. And there are various market institutions like you who should make it possible for a resilient, for a deeper capital markets. You know, World Bank comes out, you all are aware, with the ease of doing business report. And in the protection of minority investors, we are ranked reasonably high. But recently, our rank has slipped on this score, on this count, although I think the overall score remains unchanged. And therefore, we need to rededicate ourselves to maybe leverage technology, leverage fintech, leverage other kinds of communication and dissemination of information to rededicate for the protection of minority investors, for the protection of retail investors. SEBI has various measures in place for the protection of investors. And I'm sure in your other sessions, there would be officials from SEBI to narrate in detail about those. But you are all aware that SEBI has been continuously formulating policies and guidelines for the investor education. And these are applicable to market infra institutions like stock exchanges. And these are applicable to the brokers, the intermediaries, and various kinds of software, various kinds of technology is being used for that. I'm sure over this week you will be able to connect with many more investors. Although in this inaugural session, I see only few participants, maybe that is intended only for the few people from the BBF. But my call is you must reach everywhere to every small investor and do your best for the investors' awareness, particularly in this week. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words. We will beseech our brokers to think long term and for a resilient and vibrant capital market, and to rededicate ourselves and leverage the use of fintech and technology. One example of that is the fact that today's webcast is being witnessed by over 200 viewers on YouTube. This is being webcast simultaneously over YouTube. So we have over 200 concurrent users viewing it. And since morning, we have over 1,000 live views. Thank you so much for your kind words, sir.